I took a break from working on Koa'e's companionway hatch and jetted back out to Hawaii again for the first half of October for just some fun sailing up and down the bay and to take a long-awaited kiteboarding lesson. We launched Koa'e right away and took advantage of some stellar weather the first few days. Dan and I headed over to Kailua Beach to check out this kiteboarding thing. And then it was back out to the sandbar to float around in the 81-degree water. This is Koa'e's new stainless steel keel cable that I put on right before launching. And up in the well, a new stainless steel cable guide rod. That crackling sound you hear is caused by hundreds of tiny shrimp. Dan spotted this big piece of fishing net that drifted down to where we were anchored, and it was home to this little guy, which is a Hawaiian frogfish. The frogfish and a bunch of little jacks were using the net for shelter, but we had to lift it out of the water so that it wouldn't snag on the reef and kill a bunch of other critters. It was a really tough decision to make because we knew we were going to be leaving these guys stranded with really no shelter to speak of. Poor little guys had to figure out a new place to live. The frogfish wanted to adopt Dan for a while and then decided maybe Koa'e's bottom and keel well might be a better place to hide. Back to Kailua Beach for more kiteboarding lessons. The first few hours of kiteboarding lessons is spent learning something called the body drag. The first thing you're learning with the body drag is to control the kite, which is not easy. It looks fairly simple from a distance, but the kite gets pretty squirrely and it can power up really easily in the wrong position. Basically, what we're trying to do is keep it in this depowered position, which is sort of keeping the leading edge facing more into the wind, sort of like luffing a sail on a sailboat. It takes very delicate hand movements on the bar to control the kite, and there's also a big delay, so you have to watch the kite really closely and anticipate what it's going to do and make your movements early, because otherwise it'll just run away from you. The other thing we're learning with the body drag is really important. It's how to tack upwind while being dragged through the water. The reason for this is that the board has no leash. It's too dangerous for the board to have a leash. So there are times, of course, when you're going to lose the board and it'll be up to windward of you. In fact, that's when you lose it. It'll probably most often be up to windward of you. So you've got to figure out how to tack upwind while being dragged through the water. It's quite a skill and might be the only way you can retrieve your board. And when it's time to tack, you bring the kite up into the straight overhead position, kind of feathering into the wind, and change hands on the bar and try to train that hand to control the kite and take off on port tack back towards the beach. Good. Next learning was to do the same thing, only bringing the board along. So now both hands are pretty busy. And the last part of our 5 hours of lesson was to try to see what it might feel like to actually get up on the board, but pretty much was like this the whole time. And so the trade winds slowed down a little bit, and it was back to the sailing that we know how to do. We encountered 6 or 7 manta rays off Kaneohe almost every time we sailed there. We got in 9 great sailing trips and got Koa'e's Kaneohe log up to 228 miles.